Welcome to an Age of Sigmar, Cities of Sigmar Battletome review. This one I am super excited for. I have already begun painting a bunch of miniatures. In fact, all the miniatures you see above my head, all those little photographs are taken by me, but also painted by me. That is the start of my Cities of Sigmar army, the one that I never thought I would start, but I had to. The models have, they really captured me, let alone the rules. We're gonna get to the rules in a second. But this is a big book, most of it very, very positive. One thing that annoys me greatly, but we'll get to that. And the model line, the range, the aesthetic of this one is, I think, top notch, top tier. They're the best I've ever seen, actually, no joking. The models, and this is pointed out to me by my guest today that I didn't realize, but they have, the artwork and the models have an old school Mordheim feel and aesthetic, and I think that's probably why I love them so much. But let's jump right into the Cities of Sigmar Battletome review. I expect this video to be very long, so I'll like break it up into timestamps in the description below, maybe on the timeline, so we can cover it all. I'm going to put the book on screen for you here so you can follow along. Now, again, I'll apologize, the camera is actually an old one. This was a last minute setup. I wasn't going to do this review like the old school review where I just sat in front of the camera and talked about it, but I figured I'll try to show you the book as well, and you know what, if this works out, I'll probably get an even better camera for that for the next one. But let's get to this. Let's start off with, well, first of all, wait, hold on, we're going to look at some pictures here, because, my God, I feel like I'm being a shill. I never thought I would love the Siege of Sigmar models as much as I do in this book. Like, this ogre guy. This one's controversial. The ogre with the little crow's nest. I love it. A lot of people hate it. I love it. Cannon I love. Guns I love. In fact, you know, I might as well start off by showing some of the models. Some of the knights I've already painted. The steel helm. Here's, you know, this is probably a bad page to show the models off on. The steel helm with a little transfer. That's interesting. We'll talk about that when we get to models. But there's a bunch of transfers in the starter box where you get 20 steel helms, 5 knights, the free guild general, and the mage whose name, the type name obviously escapes me. We'll get to that when we get to that. So a lot of transfers in models. For example, on the shield, you put a transfer on it. There's a little spot for a transfer. We have it on the character as well. And then on the banner, which is interesting because the transfer sheet has, I forget how many, several different cities with their logos, iconography that you can, here you go, put the sliders on, the decals on, the transfers on. So we have like the Hammer Hall, and they all have special rules. There they are. Hammer Hall, Akshi, Tempest Eye, Hallowheart, Hammer Hall, and Gyra. I love that lore of Hammer Hall as a city in multiple realms. The Living City, Greywater Fastness. Either way, so you have transfers for all of these, so you can paint your army to represent whichever city you want to be. Or even some generic ones on the transfer sheet. Oh, and the knights have their own little like custom iconography, so they don't have to use the Hammer Hall, or I used Hammer Hall. They don't have to use the transfers from just, for example, Hammer Hall. So the banner here, I have the banner with the Hammer Hall transfer, but the actual knight heraldry. There you go. You'll have their own individual ones. So there's not a set of 5 of like this little shark thing. It's individual for every knight, like old school Bretonian in a roundabout way, where every knight has their own iconography. That's just for the knights. But you know what? We're not here for the models. We're here for the actual rules. Now, before we get into the actual Legions abilities, I do want to thank Games Workshop for sending me this book early so I can review it for you guys, and the models so I can paint them up and play them real soon. Unfortunately, there's not enough to play a game with them yet, so there's no battle report attached to this, but I will greatly expand the army soon. So Legions abilities is a very, I think, well, to me, feels like a unique one. I hope there's not another army on Age of Sigmar or something similar to this that I'm not aware of. I've just been getting back into Sigmar recently. I've been more painting than playing, but that's my favorite part of the hobby. I love painting and collecting armies. But this one has an orders mechanic, which I think is really cool. Now, first of all, battle trace, you can pick your, I would say just great city, but your city where you're from, not a big deal. The orders mechanic is a really cool thing. There's special orders you can give to your units. Actually, you issue them to characters with tokens that are face down. In fact, they give you a little token sheet. So there's the tokens face down. These cards here actually just a reprint of the orders on the next page, and then there's the tokens. So 3 of each one. You issue them to characters, and then when the appropriate order or trigger would happen, you flip over the token and say, hey, this is the order I have on them, and it's going to do a thing. Every character can have a single order issued to them, and there's ways around that in other parts of the book. Let's get into the orders. We have 2 generic orders here. Advanced Information and Countercharge. 3 orders that only work for humans, 2 orders that only work for dwarves or Duardin, and 2 orders that only work for the Dark Elves, the elves. The generic order of Advanced Information, you reveal this order at the start of your movement phase. If you do so, until the end of the phase, add 3 to the movement characteristics of friendly Cities of Sigmar units that start a normal move within 3 of the hero. So you issue this order to the hero, start of the movement phase, you flip it over, and all your Cities of Sigmar units within 3 of that hero will get this ordered effect, which adds 3 to their movement. Now there is an extra caveat here, which is the first time you read through the book, it can be like, oh, what does that mean? Obviously, there's more stuff later on. It'll affect other units, like certain gun units can set up a Pavis. Pavis? I'm pronouncing that correctly. They set up a Pavis, and then if they move, they shoot with a shorter range and less shots. If they stay still, they have a defensive bonus from their Pavis, and then longer range, more shots. But if you have this order issued, you would count as being set up again. So that's just that. So either way, the first order is more movement and will help with your guys that have to set up. We'll get to those later. The second order for everybody is Countercharge. Reveal this order at the end of your enemy charge phase. I love this one. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Cities of Sigmar unit that is more than 3 inches from all enemy units and within 3 inches of the hero that has this order, obviously. You can attempt to charge with that unit. In addition, if this unit makes a charge move in the same phase, improve the Ren characteristic by 1. So issue this order on a character, charge on your opponent's turn, can really throw off their plan. They pick their battle tactic. Maybe they have to get to an objective, kill a unit or whatever. You send somebody in to help out. I think it's going to be, without any actual experience with this under my belt yet, I think it's going to be a really good one. Now, I need to point out, I think I did forget to mention on the basic orders, you can only have 3 of any one order issued. So you can't have 4 of your characters with Countercharge and 4 of them with Advanced Information, 3 max per order. So the human orders, which I think, to be fair, the humans steal this book. All the new models are human. It's a very human-centric book. The only dwarves and elves in this book were basically the Misthaven box set and the Greywater Fastness box set. Most of their stuff is gone and out of the game. The elves and dwarves seem a little lackluster to me, but I think each of them will have a place for some people. But for me, just getting into the army, I'm going to stick with the humans. So the human orders, first one that works just for them is Return Fire. Reveal this order when a friendly unit within 3 of the hero with this order is targeted by a shooting attack. Then you reveal this order, and then a unit within 3 of this character can then return fire. So I'm going to read it again to make sure I'm going to say it correctly. So I have 3 units. I have a hero with the order, and maybe I have my gun unit, say, behind, and another unit up front or whatever. You shoot the front unit, the hero that's within 3 of them flips over his order, and then the gun unit will then immediately shoot back at the unit that fired at your other unit. So I'll read it again. To reveal this order, when a friendly unit within 3 of a hero with this order is targeted by a shooting attack, if you do, after all the enemy shooting attacks have been resolved, pick 1 friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit that has more than 3 friendly units, of course, and within 3 of the hero of this order, that unit immediately shoots. So you don't have to shoot the gun unit, but the gun unit can return fire so long as the target was within 3 of your hero and the gun unit is within 3 of your hero. That one, most armies aren't going to care about it, because most armies don't have shooting. Well, not all armies have shooting. But I feel like my buddy Brandon, when he plays his character in Overlord, is going to hate that order. Next one is Suppressing Fire. This one I'm not sold on. I want to play a lot with it, and we'll see how powerful it is. I think it could be really good, but I suspect I probably will rarely issue this order. But I'm happy to be wrong. So you reveal this order at the start of your shooting phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit within 3 of the hero with this order. After that unit shoots, if all the attacks target the same unit, roll 2d6 and add the wounds models removed. and add the models slain to the total. And if that total exceeds the bravery of the target you've used this order on, they will have the strikes last ability. They're suppressing that strikes last. It sounds really powerful. I just feel like if I'm killing a lot of models to get a good modifier, I probably don't care too much about strikes last, but if I'm not killing enough, I might not make my roll. However, it could be a clutch thing. So it probably is very strong, but not one I'm going to issue quite regularly. I think I'm going to have, so far, countercharge, advanced information, and return fire always issued on my characters. And then the last one for the humans only is engage the foe. You can reveal this order at the start of the charge phase. When this order is revealed, pick one friendly Sigmar human unit that is more than 3 from enemy units and has not yet fought this battle. This is once per game, per unit that hasn't fought. If the unit, where do we go here? Aim with 3. If the unit makes a charge move in this phase, add one of the attack characteristics of that unit. Add one of the attack characteristics of that unit's melee weapons. I almost tripped over my own words, as usual. Until the end of the following combat phase. It's the first time you fight with something, a +1 attack. Probably will issue it. In fact, I know I'll issue it, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, have I used engage the foe? Not even have I used engage the foe. Has this unit fought yet? I know I'm going to issue on a unit that has already fought once in the game. Oh yeah, probably can't do that. But that's more on me. There's going to be a lot of things to remember with this book. So again, a decent order, not one I probably will be issuing all the time, but I also know that after I play a handful of games, I'm like, everything I think is going to change. All my thoughts, all my plans, all my preconceptions of this book are probably going to go out the window. All right, for the first Duardin order, we have form a shield wall. Reveal this order at the start of your enemy combat phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Sigmar Duardin unit that has 5 or more models and is within 3 of the heroes. A lot of caveats there. That unit forms a shield wall at the end of the phase. While the unit is forming a shield wall, the strike last effects applies to that unit, but has a ward save of 5+. So you're going to make your guys you're going to make your own dwarves strikes last, but get a 5 up ward save. I'd use it because often they're going to be like, your doors are slow. You're going to get charged by multiple things. Maybe you're striking last anyway. Maybe they have strikes first. There are plenty of instances where you'd want to use this, and it's an order you can have on your guys anyway, right? The next one is a Grim Last Stand. You can reveal the order at the start of your combat phase. If you do so, you pick one friendly Sigmar Duardin unit that's within 3 of the hero with this order until the end of the phase. Each time a model from this unit that is slain by attack with a melee weapon, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 of that model, roll a dice. On a 5+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. I don't want to lose precious dwarves to roll 5+ and do mortal wounds, but it's a thing they can do. I find the dwarf ones, without even looking at the Warscrolls, they're not wowing me. For elves, we have strike them down. Reveal this order at the start of the charge phase. If you sort of the charge phase, didn't specify which one, so it's going to be yours. If you do so, you can pick one friendly Sigmar elf unit within 3 of the hero with this order. If the unit makes a charge move this turn, the strike's first effect applies to that unit until the end of the turn. That right there is an amazing order. I wish that applied to some humans, because we have to apply that to existing elven models, which is, again, actually, to be fair, there are some really powerful elven units in this book, but like I said, the humans shine out for me on this one. We have Swift Disengage. You can reveal this order at the end of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one City to Sigmar elf unit wholly within 3 of a hero with this order. That you can immediately retreat. Again, I personally love stuff like that. That's really good board control, table control. You don't know who, maybe the battle round's about to roll off and you want to go double turn with having a retreat, or maybe you just, you already know who's going up next and you need to be a different spot. It's just being able to retreat in an atypical time, going to be really, really powerful. So that's our order system. I really dig it. I haven't seen anything like that before. Reminds me a little bit of Astra Militarum in a roundabout way from 40k. But an allegiance ability that, has actually got me really excited. Next section, enhancements. Once again, command traits and relics and spells and stuff are divided by the races. So let's start off with the command traits for the humans. We actually the most for the humans, as per usual in this book, or it's going to be the norm in this book. So we have Divine Champion. The general becomes a priest if they're not already a priest. In addition, they know the Hammer of Sigmar prayer below. The prayer is an answer value of 4 with a range of 12. If answered until the start of the next hero phase, add 1 to the wound rolls made by attacks or weapons with melee weapons of friendly Sigmar units while they're wholly within range of the chanter. I'll use that. When we get to units, I immediately want to put that on the Free Guild General on a horse, and then run around with some knights. However, I think the biggest struggle I have with this book is I want to use a lot of relics and enhancements, so I'll have to really think about formations and stuff to get the maximum out of them. We also have Grizzled Veteran. I think I like this one too much. This is for Free Guild only, so you're going to put this on a Free Guild General. Free Guild General on a Griffin, but Free Guild only. Wound rolls made for attacks that target this general only wound on a 4+. If you're a 40k player, this is just transhuman permanently for your character. Maybe a monster, a character on a Griffin. Another one that's really good, Master of Ballistics. When the general issues an all-out attack command to friendly Castellite? I'm gonna say Castellite. Unit with the shooting phase, add 1 to the wound roll with missile weapons. In addition to normal effects. So you issue all-out attack to a unit, it's +1 to hit and to wound, and this book can be a very shooting-focused battle tome. So that one I suspect I'm going to use the most, even though I've read 3 of them and I want to use all 3. The fourth one, Fiery Temper. You can reroll charge rolls for this general. In addition, if the general made a charge move in the same turn, you can reroll charge for friendly Sigmar human units while they're wholly within 18 of this general. That's not bad. The other 3 is better for me, and I just don't think I'll ever use that one. We have the Lords of the Mountain, the Duardin generals only. We got a mighty lineage. At the start of the combat phase, you can say this general will issue a challenge. If you do so, pick 1 enemy hero within 3 of the general. Until the end of the phase, the strike first applies to this general, but all the attacks must be made against enemy hero. Not bad, but you only have 2 models that can take it, and neither one of them are super killy. Insurmountable Resilience. At the end of each combat phase, roll dice for each wound currently allocated to this general. On a 3+, the wound is healed. Not bad, but the 2 models that can take it aren't that wound heavy. They're like infantry guys, so they typically die in 1 go anyway, right? And then we have Master of Ancient Lore. This general becomes a priest, if it's not already a priest. It knows 1 additional prayer from the Rune Lore Prayer Scripture. So yeah, the dwarves don't have wizards, they have priests, so extra priest spell. We'll get to those. And then we have the Dreaded Leaders. I like the first one a lot. Unparalleled Duelist. For each hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon that targets the general that does not score a hit, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after all the attacks have been resolved. Right now, I got several questions. Does anybody know of maybe a Stormcast ally that can handle like -1 to hit as a spell or something? Because I'm just thinking about putting an Elven Dreadlord on a dragon and trying to engage a unit with the most amount of attacks and just make them kill themselves. I almost feel like this, you veterans, is this going to be too strong if you put it on a dragon? All right, Secretive Warlock, wizard only. Add 1 to casting and unbinding for this general. Great, I love +1 to casting and unbind. Draconic Pact, man, blood pack. Hero mounted on a black dragon only. At the start of the combat phase, you can say this general will draw upon the power of the their dragon blood. If you do so, this general suffers 1 mortal wound and cannot be negated. However, until the end of the phase, add 1 of the attack characteristics of the weapons the general's mount is armed with. So dragons have a lot of attacks. +1 attack on them is not bad. I'd rather have the thing where every time you miss to hit me, you just take a mortal wound, right? Let me know what you feel about that one in the comments. So those are our command traits. Dwarf, a little lackluster, but that's because I I kind of feel like dwarves are getting phased out of this game, right? This is the I bet Siege of Sigmar 4th edition, their next book, they won't be in it anyway, so who cares? Sorry for all you guys who bought your Duardin for your Siege of Sigmar, but the human ones seem really good. These two seem really good. I'm not upset about that one, so. Artifacts of Power. Again, I want to use too many of these. First one is the Brazier Holy Flame. Roll dice, each time a model would flee from a friendly Siege of Sigmar hero that is wholly within 12 of the bearer. On a 4+, the model does not flee. That's going to have uses. You don't have high bravery in this book. It will have use. However, do I want to use an enhancement slot on it? Probably not. But if I had infinite enhancements, I would definitely put this on my list somewhere, obviously, right? Vivetti's Magnificent Macroscope. Add 3 inches of the range of characteristics of missile weapons used by friendly Siege of Sigmar human units while they're wholly within 12 of the bearer. That can stack with some other things that increase range later on in the book, but I think I'm going to use that quite often. There's a character on foot that can have a couple of pistols. It's only 9-inch range, but having them at 12-inch range is going to be pretty good. That and increasing the range of your regular rifle dudes from 24 to 27 innately, probably pretty good. I like extra range. Especially when you return fire. If you can, there are some weapons in the game that are like only 30-inch range, so they can stay outside of range of the typical range of your gun, so you can't return fire on them, but you can stack a couple of buffs on your units to maybe hit that 30-inch range mark. Shemtek's Grimoire, a wizard only. Once per battle, I don't like those ones, but once per battle, the start of the enemy hero phase, you can say the bear will use the bear will conjure a storm. And if you do so, roll a d3, and to the end of that phase, subtract the amount of that roll from the casting rolls made by enemy wizards. So once per game, you roll d3 and reduce all casting values by that. I don't know if that's a big deal. So armies with 1 or 2 wizards don't really care too much about this, because they're probably not going to their army's not really how do I put this? Their armies typically don't really focus on their wizards. What I mean is they're not the whole plan doesn't focus on their wizards. And if their plan really focuses on their wizards, they have multiple of them and have a bunch of buffs, and this item is probably not going to counteract it. So it's not an item I personally would ever take. The Sigmar Warhammer. Pick one of the bear's melee weapons, improve the rend characteristic of that weapon by 1, and add 1 of the damage characters for that weapon. That's just good. That's just good. Flask of the word I can try to pronounce, Darkwater. Once per battle at the end of any phase, you can say that the bearer will sip from the flask. If you do so, you can heal d6 wounds allocated to the bearer. I typically don't use these kind of things, but something like that has kind of always existed for most armies. Let me know, do you use the heal d6 wound items? They've been around for decades, right from the old days of fantasy. And Glimmering, once per phase, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll for attack made by the bearer, or 1 save roll for attack made for attack against the bearer. Again, that's a pretty good one. Could you stick that with the can't be wounded and better than a 4+? You're going to be pretty survivable. But the character that will take the can't be wounded and better than a 4+, he'd probably be better served with the Sigmar Warhammer. So once again, I want to use too many of these. That's a good problem to have. For the Duardin heroes, we have the Book of Grudges. At the start of the hero phase, if the bearer is more than 3 from all enemy units, you can say that they will read from the Book of Grudges. If you do so, pick 1 enemy unit that is visible to the bearer and roll a die. On a 4+, a grudge is found. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Siege of Sigmar Duardin units that target the enemy unit until the next grudge is found. I like it. And it's old school, it's very lore appropriate. I like it. I use it all the time. If I have infinite relics, I'd have this auto included if I had any dwarves on my list. Pile Driver Gauntlets. You know what? The name alone wins me over. I love it. At the start of the combat phase, if the unit is within 3 enemy units, you can say it will strike the ground. If you do so, the bearer cannot fight this phase. However, roll a die for each enemy unit within 3 of the bearer. On a 4+, the strike's last effect applies to the enemy unit until the end of that phase. Strike last is just good. I hate the risk of the 4-up die, but I also know that if I'm playing it, I'm just gonna get that die most of the time. I'm gonna get that 4-up every time. So yeah, handing out the strikes last is pretty good. But I gotta bring dwarves. Heavy Metal Ingot. Ignore a negative modifiers to save rolls for attacks that target the bearer if the bearer has not made a move in the same turn. Don't care. Don't care. Only 2 models I can take it, really. For elf units, we have the Shadow Shroud Ring. Once per battle at the start of your hero phase, you can say that the bear will use the ring. If you do so, until the start of your next hero phase, the bear is not visible to enemy units that are more than 12 away. Here's a problem I have with items like this. That's a game-winning item. But there's so many good items in this book, I'm never going to put this on my character. Because there are other good things to use. But there's going to be times in games where it's like, if my character can run over this objective and the only thing that can get them is maybe that one last a Thunderer who's going to shoot him down. I got one wound left, and if he makes a hit and the wound while I fail my save, he's just dead, and I don't get that objective, and I lost the game. But if you can't target me, it's just too situational. Now, no, I can't think of a reason to want to bring it. If you can think of a reason to want to bring that, like it's an item that in the right situation wins you the game, but too situational. Venom Fang Blade. Pick one of the bear's melee weapons. If the unmodified wound roll made for the attack is a 6, the attack causes D3 mortal wounds in addition to normal damage. I like those if you have a lot of attacks. So I don't like that. Anklet of Epiphany. Wizard only adds 6 inches of the range of any spells cast by the bear, as long as the bear is wholly on terrain and or contesting an objective. I like that. I love adding range of spells. Does that apply to endless spells as well? Interesting. But there's more. We got spell lores. Should we go over every one of these spells? They're not that different from what they were before. So if you're familiar with Shades of Sigmar, the old Empire lore from Warhammer Fantasy back in the day, there was 8 colleges of magic, and there still is here. Your wizards can pick a spell that's dedicated, aligns with the college they are from. So like a fireball, the fireball spell, if I remember correctly, it's actually the same as it was before. Are any of these different? Well, you know what? They're on the screen. You can pause them and look if they're any different. I don't see myself using many of these. Not that they're bad. The only wizard I want to bring probably won't be casting many spells, but will. Oh no. No, there's 2 wizards I want to bring. One wizard I want to bring is going to be forced into taking Transmutation of Lead. And I believe, I'm going to skip ahead and just cheat for a second here. I want to go ahead and look at just a single unit real quick and see if I'm forced to take a spell from a certain lore. I think you're over here. Where are you? Yes. Yes, okay. So the Battle Mage on the Hurricane is another wizard I'm probably going to take, but it's forced to take the Twin Tail Comet, which actually isn't the worst spell here. It's 7 to cast, but it'll probably never personally cast the spell. There you go. It's on the screen if you want to read it. I won't be playing with these, to be very honest. For the elf spells, these I will be taking actually if I play elves. We have Sap Strength. This spell has a casting value of 6 and a range of 18. I love casting value of 6. A lot of these are 7. So 7, 7, 7, 6 for Fireball, 5 for Miasma, 7, 7, 7. I hate casting value 7. So back to Sap Strength. Casting value 6, range 18. Pick one enemy unit within range. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made by that unit the next turn. That's a good spell. That's a good spell. For my playstyle. Umbral Hex, a casting value of 6. Again, I love casting value 6. Range of 12. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within range, invisible to the caster, until the start of the next hero phase. Each time a Battle Shock roll is made for that unit, 2d6 must be rolled instead of 1. I love that spell. When units flee, it's a big deal. And if you, like, changing the d6 roll to d6, you're going to have elite units actually, like, you always have to roll. I have Bravery 10 on my Grave Guard, right? They're all 10 still, right? I still got to roll it. I lost them all. I still got to roll. Temporal Blades. The spell is casting value 7. We know we don't like those. In a range of 9. If successfully cast, pick one friendly Cities of Sigmar Elf unit wholly within range and invisible to the caster, wholly within range. Until the start of your next hero phase, when making save rolls for attacks made by melee weapons with Cities of Sigmar Elf units, the save characteristic is nothing. Wait, did I misunderstand that? Until the start of your next hero phase, when making save rolls for attacks made by melee weapons, by that... Oh wow, you just ignore armor. Wait, what? How did I miss that? Until the start of your next hero phase, when making save rolls for attacks made with melee weapons, by that... Just ignore armor. All three of these are really good. So, meh. There's some good in here. Real good. Prayers. We have some scriptures here. We have the Rune of Unfaltering Aim. So it's a prayer, so it has an answer value of 3 with a range of 12. Pick one dwarf unit, wholly within range, invisible to the chanter. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by the missile weapons. I don't care about the Duardin missiles, but okay. Rune of Oath and Steel. I know, I'm sorry, I'm down on these things because I've already read the whole book. Rune of Oath and Steel. The Rune of Oath and Steel is a prayer value of 3 in range of 12. If answered, pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar Duardin unit wholly within range of visible to the caster. Subtract 1 from rune rolls for attacks made. Oh, I saw hero for attacks until the next hero phase. So that's a good one. It is the answer value of 3. That's really, really strong. Rune of Wrath and Ruin is the instant value of 3 and a range of 18. If answered, pick one enemy unit within range of visible to the enchanter. Roll 6 dice. For each 5+, the enemy suffers 1 mortal wound. In addition, if the unit suffers 3 or more mortal wounds when the prayer is answered, that unit is ruined until the start of your next hero phase. What a phrase. While the unit is ruined, ignore positive modifiers for save rolls for attacks that target that unit. That's also pretty good. I could see myself, actually, I don't want to bring Dwarven Infantry, only because I personally want to focus on the human stuff, but I can see bringing in Runesmith just to use the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And all the elves are viable now because of these spells. The free cities, the sub-factions in this book, my favorite part, actually. So most of them I want to play. Some of them I think are really good. One is right up my alley, but I will be playing Hammerhall Akshay, the Fireplace, the most. So this one's, my first couple of read-throughs was the most, to me, lackluster. Well, uninteresting. I don't want to play this one. In hindsight, I think it might actually be maybe one of the best. So this one here, when orders are given to friendly Hammerhall. This Hammerhall has 2 Hammerhalls. This one, you can give one of those heroes 2 orders instead of 1. I think the orders are going to be such a big deal and a big mind game with your opponent, even though they're, for the most part, going to know what you're going to have. But there's always a little bit of a doubt, right? The more orders you can do, I think is going to be really, really strong. However, if they're good at assassinating your characters, it'll lose value, but I think having one of your heroes issued 2 orders is going to be really, really good. In addition, if you bring Avantis Firestrike as an ally, he's that wizard dude on that Tourmaline, I think it's pronounced, the lured flying not Pegasus mount. You receive a command point inside of the command phase. So that doesn't seem a whole lot of interesting, cool things there, but I think just the extra order is probably worth it. Like, it seems, after writing a few lists, I think that's the one for me. We have Tempest Eye. It's they're allies with the Caradron Overlords. They have rapid redeploy. Friendly Tempest Eye and allied Caradron Overlords Sky Vessel units, including the units embarked in them, can retreat and still shoot in the same turn. Probably better for Caradron than the cities, but I'm not positive, as I'm not a Caradron player. So I'm assuming if you already have a Caradron army, this is the one you're going to ally with. Otherwise, we have Hallowed Heart. They got Wild Magic. When a friendly Hallowed Heart wizard casts a spell, you can say, well, harness Wild Magic. If you do so, roll 3 dice instead of 2. However, an unmodified roll of 10+, the caster suffers a D3 mortal wounds after the effects of the spell have been resolved. You know, With some of the new wild magic spells in the current season, I'll risk it. Some of the new, frost spells, like the blizzard spell, I'll risk it on, say, like a wizard on a griffin. We have Hammerhall Gyro. The battle pack you are using has restrictions on the number of reinforced units you can include one additional Cities of Sigmar reinforced unit in your army. In addition, friendly Hammerhall Gyra human units have bravery characteristics of 10, while they have 10 or more models. So if you want to spam big blocks of human infantry, you really need to know about their war scroll coming up to really talk about that, but this is the one for you. However, you veterans, how often do you reinforce your units these days? I find myself rarely, if ever, reinforcing my units. That being said, I am a little inexperienced in this game these days. Oh, I also want to point out while I'm right there. If you haven't heard about this channel before, keep it bookmarked. Regular Cities of Sigmar, well, they'll be a part of it. Regular Age of Sigmar battle reports are coming to this channel real soon. All the logistics have been ironed out. Everything's been locked in. We're just not starting yet, but it's going to happen. So they're going to be back again. The Living City. Hunters of the Hidden Path. During deployment, instead of setting up the Living City unit or an allied Civil Death unit on the battlefield, you can place it to one side and say it's set up in the Hidden Path as a reserve unit. You can set up one unit in the Hidden Path for each Living City unit you have on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up one or more of those reserve units on the battlefield, wholly within 6 of a battlefield edge and more than 9 from enemy units. I like that. I like table control. I like being spread out for a lot of battle tactics and stuff if you want to be in certain areas. I like that. Oh, there's a lot more. We have Greywater Fastness. This one, my first read through, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one for me. I'm going to play this all day long. I'll read my bunch of guns. I still think it'll be very strong, but you can use the all attack command 3 times in your shooting phase. In addition, the first 2 times a friendly Greywater Fastness unit receives an all attack command, its command point's not spent. It's so good for a gun heavy army, right? 3 auto attacks a turn, so like maybe 2 cannons and 1 rifle unit, we'll get to the name in a second, or 2 of those in a cannon. Those characters with decent guns, just free all-out attack orders. If you go shooting heavy, this is gonna be the one for you. Lethis. They got the Raven Priests. I believe, yeah, this one. Okay, so all Lethis humans, heroes that aren't wizards, become priests. In addition, they learn a spell called Morda's Embrace. I think they renamed Mor a little bit. It's Morda now. Morda's Embrace is a prayer with the answer value of 4 in a range of 12. If answered, pick 1 enemy unit within range and visible to the chanter. Ward saves cannot be made by enemy units that start until the start of your next hero phase. I really want to see somebody come in with a Morda themed Cities of Sigmar list painted all with the dark colors like this. Vindicarum, the Unyielding Faith. Friendly Vindicarum units receive the rally command while they're within 3, can receive the rally command while they're within 3 of enemy units. In addition, when a friendly Vindicarum Flagellants unit receives a rally command, you return 1 Slade model for every 5 plus instead of 6. If you want to spam Flagellants, this is the one for you. Do I want to buy 60 Flagellants? Maybe. We'll get to those. Excelsius. We have fearsome breeds. Add 1 to the wound rolls add 1 to the wound characteristics of friendly Excelsius monsters. In addition, each time a friendly Excelsius Free Guild Cavaliers unit fights, that's these guys here. Whenever these guys fight, all units. Where is it? After all of the attacks have been resolved, pick 1 enemy unit within 3 of the Cavaliers and roll a die for each model in that Cavalier unit. For each 4+, that enemy suffers 1 mortal wound. So these are not bad models. I think they have pretty decent stats, but they're not. You're not gonna base your army around these. With everything this book can do, and they're about hunting monsters. It's a cool backstory. It's a cool lore. I don't know if I see anybody painting their army to follow that city. Settlers Gain. Expert Instruction. Add 1 to casting roll for friendly Settlers Gain wizards. In addition, at the start of your hero phase, you receive 1 additional command point if the model picked to be your general is within 3 inches of a friendly Lumineth Realm Lord's hero. So they work with the elves, the light elves. Misthaven. This is my favorite. This one will take, I think, a lot to like, master, but I think this is my favorite. Shadowed Approach. At the end of your hero phase, you can pick up the 3 different friendly Misthaven units that are more than 12 from enemy units. It's gotta be far away. Each of these units can make a move of d6. Roll separately for each. If they're mounted, you make a move of 2d6 instead of d6, and you can't finish within 3 inches of enemy units. Just movement at the end of your hero phase? 3 units are just gonna move in your hero phase? That's really good, right? I really like that one. However, I think, well, not that all gaming should be thought about competitively, but whenever you have a discussion or a Codex, Battletome, Army Book review, the conversation inherently ends up competitive because that's the point of the conversation. I'm not saying you have to play competitive all times. In fact, it's better if you don't, in my opinion. But yeah, the conversation goes that way. So competitively speaking, if you are like, Misthaven will be really good about focusing on missions and scoring and manipulating your opponents. With certain units, we'll talk about all those units. Greywater Fastest, you want to focus on like a big old gun line. Leftist, you're fighting undead. And then I think overall, I think the basic Hammer Hall one, the extra orders is going to be more useful than the other rules you're getting in most of the time. I think weirdly enough, in a generic list, your generic humans list, I suspect the extra order will be more valuable to me than even my favorite one, Misthaven, with the extra movement. I love movement, but give me the extra order. Either way, I don't think you can pick a bad one. Can you pick a bad one? Well, I guess you can pick a bad one if you're going to play these guys without carriage on allies. If you never reinforce, yeah, some are better than others. Let me know what your favorite one is. Oh, we gotta talk about match play stuff. Everybody plays match play, right? So the first grand strategy you can take is when the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy. If you completed at least 4 battle tactics, and every battle tactic you completed was from the Honor or Glory section. I don't think I'd ever take that, right? But we'll have to talk about those in a second. Reclaim for Sigmar. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are at least 1 friendly Siege of Sigmar unit wholly within each quarter of the battlefield. Never gonna bank on that. Well, I guess you can make an elf theme list that could probably reliably do it, but hold the high ground. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are any friendly units within 12 of the center of the battlefield and no enemy units within 12 of the center. That one doesn't seem unreasonable. Banner held high. At the end of when the battle ends, each player totals the number of standards and totems and things with totem keyword in their army. And if yours is higher, you complete this grand strategy. Unfortunately for this one, you can make a list that can really play into that, but I don't think the book wants you to do that. So it's not one I will probably ever pick. I think the generic ones are just going to be better more often than not. But that's a running theme we're seeing, I think, with a lot of these books. Some of these grand strategies can be just hard misses. Same as their battle tactics. In fact, let's talk about those right now. So we have bring full arms to bear. Pick 1 enemy unit. You complete this battle tactic if that unit is destroyed this turn and was under the suppressed, and was suppressed by the suppressed fire order. So for that one there, remember you have to let's just pull that back up actually. Oh, right here. It's an order. You shoot at somebody. You roll 2d6 and add the amount of casualties you caused, and the total is greater than their bravery. They are suppressed. So you have to. I know it's a lot of these battle tactics you have to roll a die to get. Sometimes you got to run somewhere. Sometimes you got to cast a spell or not have it unbound. But there are things you can do that can mitigate the randomness of those. This one, not so much. In fact, this one I can see causing an argument. I actually wouldn't know how I'd rule it. I think I know how I'd rule it. So what if you fire at a unit and you actually wiped them out? You get to roll the 2d6 and to see if they're suppressed. They're dead already. I can see both sides of the argument. I think rules as written you do. It's kind of lame that you do. It's weird that the dead are suppressed. That's gonna be an interesting one. Not one that I'm gonna rely on, but weirdly enough, these battle tactics, every now and then, you're doing your turn, it's your command phase, you go read all the battle tactics, you look at the table, you read all the battle tactics again, and you go, oh, this one I never ever pick. I can actually do it in this case. So we're gonna score this one. We're gonna score this one. It's just not gonna be one you score in every game. Raise the banner. Pick one objective controlled by your opponent. You complete this tactic if you control that objective in your turn. And a friendly free guild command corps includes that includes a herald. The herald's still alive. Is there. So this is a unit that I think we're all going to include like almost every time. So we'll get to that unit and talk about it. So it's a little character unit. One of the characters has a banner. So long as the banner is still alive, you didn't kill that model off. You take an objective. This is it's doable. It's not a unit that you want in your front lines pushing on objectives though. So usually when somebody like takes an objective from you, but you're able to fight them off easily and you get your herald on it. So yeah, you'll get this one. Black powder bombardment. You complete this tactic if 3 or more units were destroyed in your shooting phase. Yeah, you're gonna do this one. That one you're gonna score. Mount and charge. Pick one objective controlled by your opponent. You complete this tactic if you control that objective in your turn, and every friendly unit on that objective is mounted and made a charge that turn. There is a general and cavalier combo that those two units work well together. That they're going to go do that objective for you. So yeah, that one I think we're going to see that one scored. Strike without warning. You complete this battle tactic if 3 or more friendly Sigmar elf units made a charge this turn. So that is too easy to get if you're elf focused. Otherwise, for me, I'm never going to score that one. And the next one, Iron Might. You complete this tactic if at the end of your turn, 3 or more friendly Sigmar Duardin units have fought this turn, and no friendly Sigmar Duardin units were destroyed. I'm never ever going to use this one. All joking aside, I might use the elf one, but never the dwarf one. They're not for me. That being said, I feel like for battle tactics, better than some, maybe even better than most. So I'm not upset about this. Meh. I like this. This, however, is a little unfortunate. I think it's not bad. We have a Castellite, whatever you pronounce that, formation. It's going to require 2 Fusel Majors on Ogres. We'll see those later on. That's the Ogre with the Crow's Nest. 3 battle line units and a cannon. These are all things I want to use. They get Unified Drop and Slayers. So once per battle, get the All Attack or All Shell Command for free. Again, not bad. I'm not complaining about this whatsoever. The problem is I want to try to get my units in detachments that give me more relics and command traits. So I won't be using this because I need to get detachments with relics and command traits, relics and command traits. Well, otherwise, it's not bad. It's not good. And I like it. Could have been better, but could have been worse. I'm not complaining. It's time for the best of the best of the War Scrolls. This is what most of you are here for. However, we actually hit the first of 2 things that really upsets me about this book. We have Talia Verda, the Linus the Parch. This model is freaking amazing. I love this, so I'm going to have this right away. In fact, this is one of the reasons I ultimately chose Hammer Hall. She is Hammer Hall, and I don't like my name characters to not be in the same faction as the rest of my dudes. Now, before I talk about how amazing I think she is, I like her. I'm upset that this kit, even though clear as day, multiple head options, multiple weapon options, it's only 1 model. There's no generic version of a character on a Griffin, or a Griffin, a Chimera. Like, the bits are there. They could have made a generic version. I don't like named characters. I'm happy to use them. I would have loved for this kit to also give me a generic version. In fact, Games Workshop, it's not too late. Give me a White Dwarf article that it says you assemble a different weapon and you put on the helmet instead of the faced head, and it's a generic one. Give me a generic one. I want the generic one so bad. This kit only allows you to play Verda. And that, honestly, I was real upset about. That being said, stat-wise, not a terrible model whatsoever. Beautiful, beautiful model. Okay, 15 wounds and 4 save. We have Weapons of Office. It can't be a Sword of Office or the Mace of Office. It's Weapons of Office because you get multiple options in the kit. Why? It was all there. It's all there. Anyways, the Weapons of Office is 1 inch range, 6 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1/2. Very typical character stats for that weapon. Very, very typical. In fact, 6 attacks is a little on the higher end for the average of that. We have the Leon, I can't say this word, the Lion Jaws. 2-inch range, 3 attacks, typically hitting on 2s at the top bracket. 3s to wound, -2, 3 damage. I love that stat, very good stat. And then we have the Scorpid Stinger. 3-inch range, cool. 2 attacks, 4s to hit, only 4s to hit. 2s to wound, -3, and D3 plus 3 damage in the top bracket. You all attack this lady and she'll do fine. So offense is great. She has fly, and she has a ward save 6+. I don't poo-poo on the ward save 6+. I don't think it's an amazing ability, but I like ward saves even if they're only 6+. Just that's a couple more wounds. Like on average, is going to be 2 more wounds in the game, but sometimes when you roll hot, it's many more wounds worth in the game, right? We got lead from the front special ability. While this unit is within 3 of any enemy units, and that unit, this unit can issue the rally command to friendly Citizen Sigmar human units while they're within 3 of enemy units. So in addition, they rally on a 4+ instead of 6. So you can rally your humans on a 4+ when she's in engagement range, and so are they. That's really good. Unparalleled Tactician. This unit is, you know what? She can have 2 orders on her instead of 1. And then if you're like me, you're gonna play her in your Hammer Hall. Actually, so 2 heroes can have. One hero can have 2 orders. She can have 2 orders, and all the other heroes have a order. So it's gonna be an order-heavy subfaction. And then she has a special rampage. I spit in the book. Paralyzing Venom. Pick 1 enemy monster. Oh, you know what? I just read it differently than the first 3 times I read it. Pick 1 enemy monster that made a charge move this turn and within 3 of this unit. Roll a die. On a 3+, the strike last effects applies to the enemy monster to the turn. I was thinking she would charge enemy monsters and make them strike last and go have other things charged. So if monsters charge her, she's gonna... Oh, wait a minute. The counter charge order, you put it on her. So a monster charges one of your units. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fantastic ability though. So she makes sure she has counter charge on her, and she counter charges an enemy monster. It charged, she charged. Who cares? She 3+ makes it strike last. Oh, that's gonna be a real feel bad for some people. I love this model. I cannot wait to paint it. Her stats, solid. I don't think anybody's gonna complain about them. Just upset that it only creates the named version, not a generic version, which is like, this is the generic one right there. It's right there. We have Pontifex Zenestra. You know what? This has already been revealed. We'll just do this real fast. Mediocre, medium character stats. No real offensive output. You know what? That's not her thing. She has a 4 board save though. And I think she makes something else, but flagellance, if I remember correctly. Okay, she can dispel and unbind and cast. No, she can dispel and unbind 1 spell, not cast. She's not a wizard. She has a prayer with an answer value of 3. You pick a unit. Hold on. If answered, and this unit is wholly within your territory, pick 1 of the effects below. To take effect until your next hero phase. If you're not wholly within your territory, you pick 2 effects. So the effects you can have are Citizen Sigmar human, once again, human only, units that are wholly within 18 of her, a 5 aboard save. That's worth it right there. In fact, we need to go back real quick right here. I mean, points matter in these discussions. Hopefully they don't change by the time this review comes out. Just kidding. Let's look at real quick, because it's part of Talia. It's important for her context. Talia is only 340 points. I'd pay that all day long. Now, Pontifex Zenestra, she's 150 points. Like, that's an auto include for me. Only the first ability, 5 aboard save, they everybody wholly within 18. And there are other things that you're going to come on with that later on, but we'll get to that. I keep saying that, I know. So, answer value of 3, 5 aboard save, everybody wholly within 18. Or add 2 to the move characteristics of humans on the battlefield. Add 2 to the move characteristics of humans on the battlefield. Roll a die for every enemy wizard and priest on the battlefield. Did I say enemy? I think I said enemy. Roll a die for every enemy wizard and priest on the battlefield. On a 2+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. Okay, all three are good. And then Wrath of Azir, at the start of the combat phase, and after this unit fights, keep in mind she can't fight. Roll dice for every enemy within 3 of this unit. On a 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So if you're in your territory, you get one of these abilities on a roll of a 3+. And if you're not within your territory, you get 2 of these abilities. She's so good. We got Flagellants, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. 6 up save, bravery 8, blah. When they die, pick an enemy within 3 on a roll die, and a 5+, take mortal wounds. Not terrible, I just don't want to buy any. Not terrible. We got the Free Guild Marshal, he's the guy on Griffin. We have 3 decent weapons. We have a hammer with like 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2, 3. We have a Sigmar Rune Sword, 5 attacks, -3, 3s and 3s, -1, 2. And then your Lance, which is your typical 3/3, -1, 2, extra rend, extra damage on the charge. But keep in mind, one of the upgrades so this is the guy I think about doing the you can't wound him better than a 4+ with that command ability. And the relic I want to give him is the Sigmarite Warhammer, which gives him +1 rend and damage. So I'd probably put it on. You put it on the Lance, and when you charge, it's 4 damage at rend 3. Or you put it on the sword, and it's 3 damage at rend 2 all the time. Or you put on the hammer, and it's 3 damage. It's 4 damage rend 3 all the time. There's no bad pick there. I'd probably pick the Lance or the sword, honestly. Then you have your beak and your claws and all the extra fighty things you do. So this model, much like Verda, Talia, he can have 2 orders on him instead of 1. Pretty good. And then there's a piercing blood roar ability. You can carry out the roar, monsters rampage with the unit. You can pick 2 enemy units than 3. So the Griffin roars so effectively, it can roar at 2 units instead of 1. I like that too. So this is not a bad model. I don't know if it'll be in my first collection because there's so many good things to buy. But how many points are we spending for this Free Guild Marshal on a Griffin? Free Guild Marshal on a Griffin. Wait, where are you? Why would you not? Is it spelled differently? Why is it Free Guild Marshal? No, things aren't in alphabetical order. Of course. He's down here. 270 points for that. The damage he can have, the fact that you're probably going to make him so you can't win him on better than 4+ all day long. No complaints here. Free Guild Marshal, that is this guy with the Relic Envoy. So he has a little squire. Probably terrible lighting, but I just painted those up. You can have weapon options. You can have dueling pistols, so it's range 9, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 1. Or you can have a sword or hammer, or a short sword. Oh, sorry, if he has pistols, he has a short sword. Short sword is just the not fighting one. So you have a long sword for 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2. Or the hammer with 3 attacks, 4s to hit, -2. Sorry, 2s to wound, -2, 3 damage. I gave mine the hammer. It's probably better if I would redo this guy. I'd probably give him the dueling pistols. His job is to be behind my gunners to give out orders and stuff. So yeah, I probably would have given pistols if I were to. In fact, I have another one. I'm probably going to do another one with pistols. But the sword and hammer are both good options. He has a little squire for. What does the squire have for weapons? Squire doesn't fight. Fair, sure. Nobody cares about him. All right, we have the Ardent Relic Envoy. At the start of your hero phase, you must choose for the unit's Relic Envoy. Oh, that's not him. That's him. The guy I keep calling the Squire. To deliver a message to a nearby unit. If you choose the Relic Envoy to attend the Marshal, you can carry out a heroic action with this unit in addition to any other unit you carry out heroic action with. If you choose the Relic Envoy to deliver a message to a nearby unit, pick one friendly City of Sigmar human unit, wholly within 12 of this unit, until the start of your next hero phase. The next time that unit receives a command, the command point is not spent. So that's a free command to turn. I'm already thinking if I were to do like a full gun line, I do gray water fastness. I'm gonna pick. I say I have three. Well, my hands over here. I have 3 gun units. The third one over here is wholly within 12 of my envoy. I'm gonna give them when they're issued a command, it's to cost nothing. So I'm gonna do all attack free, all attack free. Then I'll do their all attack. This one I have to pay for, but this one costs nothing. And many, many, many other uses. Or I can do an additional heroic action instead. Either way. Maybe you need another unbind, or you need, well, other things you have to do every now and then. Heroic willpower is the most common. So like every turn, most of us are just like throwing a die and a 4+ to do heroic leadership. This is just kind of like, as long as the unit's wholly within 12, kind of like automatic. So almost like an auto-include unit for me. The rousing speech can be delivered once per game. This is a heroic action. You pick 3 friendly Siege of Sigmar human units wholly within 18 of this unit. For each unit picked, roll 2d6. If the score is less than or equal to their bravery, at the end of the turn, models in that unit count as 2 models for controlling objectives. Now, just keep in mind that bravery isn't that high in this book, so I suspect you're not going to get this too often, but there'll be times when like it's late game and he's got to walk on that objective, but he's already a couple models on it. You just need more models there. You go for the heroic speech. Maybe you get it, and maybe you just get enough bodies on there, and you get it. So yeah, it is. It's not. I'm not going to use it that often, but I'll use him for his free relic ability. We have the Free Guild Cavalier Marshal. It's the leader of the knights. He has a little pistol. He has a 4-attack sword, 3s and 3s, -1/2 damage. His horse has 3 feet apparently than the average 2 attacks for other horses. And then we have some really cool abilities. Obviously, we got the 7 wounds, 3 up save, not bad. Typical cav stats. When the finest hour heroic action is used in this unit. Wait. Oh, in addition to his normal effects, you can add 3 to his charge rolls. And friendly cavalier units, wholly within 12 of them. So finest hour, this is when you go with that battle tactic where they got to go clear off an objective and be the only mounted units can be on it. So this is a perfect combo. So he and his cav do finest hour, get that extra boost, charge across the field and clear off the objective. Maybe you have an order to give extra rend or whatever, help out. And maybe he's a priest and gives them, maybe this guy here is a priest, one of the command traits you can buy, and he gives his cav +1 to wound. Like, there's just a lot of little things you can do with this. And after he fights, he has strikes first when he charges. And after he fights, he can pick a cavalier unit within 12, wholly within 12, and they can immediately fight. It's a good combo. I don't think I ever want 10 of these on my list, but I want this guy and a unit of 5 of these in every one of my human lists, I believe. So, like, this starter pack box, I think it's a good buy. Every model in that box I'm going to use in like most of my lists, I believe. Alchemite Warforger. This is the one wizard. Again, it comes in the pack. It comes in the box that just got released. Is one of the 2 wizards I want to use on the regular. So it's a wizard with typical wizard stats, but he's a better fighter because he's a blacksmith. But he can cast 1 spell. If he picks a spell, it must be transmutational lead. Who cares? I'll say it in a second. His own spell is Blazing Weapons. It's a casting value 7. Remember, we don't like those. He picks a human unit within 12. Is it wholly within 12? Wholly within 12. And their melee weapons get 6s to hit, do a mortal wound in addition. But, Runic Crucible. At the start of your hero phase, you can say this unit will stoke or expend the power of the Runic Crucible. If this unit stokes the power of the Runic Crucible, add 1 to casting rolls for this unit to the end of the phase. Now we don't care so much about that 7 to cast. Or, if it expends the power, it cannot cast any spells this phase, but until the start of your next hero phase, add 1 to the save rolls for friendly Siege of Sigmar human units while they're wholly within 12 of this unit. There are things that are to combo with that. I think are even more useful. I like that. If you're playing how I want to play, a very castle-y gun line, which I know a lot of people don't like to play against. So I will make sure every time I want to play my upcoming castle, which will be actual castle, I'll make sure my opponent knows beforehand and ask, hey, do you want to play against this? I'm not going to be offended if you don't. A lot of people hate these kind of lists. Not going to be upset if you don't want to play against it, but it'll be a cool thing for every now and then. It'll help out that castle quite a bit, and you'll see why. Like even though that's just good on its own. Okay, let's keep moving on. The Battle Mage. Now we reached the other thing that annoys the piss out of me. Okay, wizard stats, basic stuff. You pick a spell from you know, the lore thing. Games Workshop, I think you took a step backwards with this. And if anybody disagrees with me, comment below. If I'm off my rocker, just point it out. Say, Steve, you're wrong. It's cool and I like it. So when you buy the wizard pack, you can build, I think, 2 or 4 wizards. I can't remember, it's been a while since I assembled one. But there's a bunch of different kinds you can assemble. This is from old Warhammer Fantasy. A metal wizard, a death wizard, light, fire, and heavens. Or, yeah, it's called heaven still. But there's a bunch of like weird bits that look cool. But now each one of these bits does a different thing. I play what you see is what you get. I would like my opponent to only play what you see is what you get. If somebody ever comes in with an Age of Sigmar army and they have their wizard and they have, say, the Eldritch Hourglass glued and painted to their miniature, I'll say you can pick any one of your arcane trinkets. You don't have to use that one. So a wizard picks an arcane trinket. If you have the Ancient Grimoire, that one right there, you get +1 to your casting rolls. You have the Hourglass. This wizard has a 5-up ward save. You don't want a 5-up ward save for this freaking wizard. If you have the Enchanted Blade, that's this one right here. You had 2 attacks to his battle staff. Come on, this is a step backwards. Don't make people feel bad because he assembled something cool 5 years ago and now it's just a stupid pick. Like, why would you ever have a wizard with +2 attacks when you have +1 to cast? And it's not even, I don't even think it's min-maxing. It's just like, come on, that's lame. This is a step backwards for me. Like, I know we don't want to talk about 40k, but 40k is moving in that proper direction where it's like, oh, just pick whatever weapons equipment you want to buy. Don't worry about paying for every nickel and dime, a little point here and there. This to me is like, I feel bad that I stumbled this. We have the Ensorcelled Skull, +1 to on binding rules. The Realm Sword Orb, which is I think my favorite one, at 6 inches of the range of the spells you cast. Ritual Dagger, you can cut yourself once per battle. You do 1 mortal wound yourself, and you can cast 1 additional spell that phase. And then the Spectral Potion, which is right here. Once per battle in your hero phase, you can say this unit will uncork its Spectral Potion. If you do so, pick 1 enemy unit within 12 and roll a dice on a 2+ enemy unit suffers a D3 mortal wounds. Now, if you're playing Path to Glory, I think they're all viable. They're all pretty cool in Path to Glory. You want to come in for Battleport with me? Just say which one you want. You don't have to feel bad that you assembled something. Don't buy a new pack of wizards because of this. This was a cool idea, but what about people who already bought their stuff? All right, we have a Battle Mage on a Griffin. I must take the Wild Form spell if you take a spell. Otherwise, 4-up save, 15 wounds, good stats. 4 attacks with his twin beak instead of, I think it was 2. Yeah, because he has 2 heads. You know, why not, right? Not a bad fighter, all things considered. Now, this guy... he has to take double orders. But this one we got add one to the damage characteristic of the Razor Claw and Twin Beaks when fighting monsters. It likes fighting monsters. So the Twin Beak will be 4 damage, and the Razor Claws will be 3 damage when fighting monsters. So it's more of a, really enough, it's more of the offensive one, even though with the right relic, this guy can be very offensive. So I will use this because it's a wizard, and we are in Andorian, well, the Age of Andorian at the time I'm recording this video anyway. Oh, let's talk about his points. What's that wizard? What's it called? Battle Mage on Griffin. Let's go off by order. No, that's not going to work. 250 points for the wizard. Okay. How many points are we paying for? I remember this guy's 90 points. Let me double check that. Yeah, Alchemite Warforger, this wizard's 90 points. And this guy, I think he's 170? Or 120? Regal Cavalier. Yeah, he's 120. 120 for the character that I want to put in most of my list. And he's a tool I'm going to use for counterattacking stuff, not like my main attack force. We have the Battle Mage on Celestial Hurricanum, or not on her, or not on this thing. This thing. So, it just fell. So you can have with or without it. It can be a hero, or it can be not a hero. This thing is really good, I think. It's the same thing, only there's a wizard on it. You're also counted as being a wizard. And you get the Chain Lightning spell. The spell will be 18-inch range and casting value 6. Pick one enemy within range invisible to caster. The unit suffers a D3 mortal wounds. Then roll a die for any other enemy unit within 6. On a 4+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. Like, that's just really good. I like that. It's a 6 to cast, and it's like the best spell in the game, as far as I'm concerned. No, best spell in this book, I mean. We have the Storm of Shemtek. This is the innate ability of this war scroll. In the hero phase, you can pick one enemy with an 18 and roll a number of dice equal to the battle round. For each 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Second ability that's really, really good. And his third ability, add 1 to hit rolls made for attacks for friendly Siege of Sigmar human units wholly within 9 inches of this. My gun line is going to have this standing behind. It can issue orders because it's a hero. It has a cool spell. It has a Storm of Shemtek damaging thing. And it buffs up my guns. All for the low, low price of something. Battle Mage, 260 points. A little pricey, I'm using it. Or you can have the same thing without the wizard. So you lose Chain Lightning, you lose the ability to issue an order, and it costs... Should be right next to it, right? No, it's not right next to it. 230 points. So you're going to pay 30 points plus a leader slot for Chain Lightning, a really good spell. One more Unbind, and the ability to issue one more order. All day long. The other one, don't care about again. Has anybody ever used this one? This one, the Luminarch, just consistently, even since the days of Warhammer Fantasy, has fell behind. Like this one's been good every time. Good. Edition after edition. This one, no. Why do we keep making the same mistake? Either way, they're the same thing. This one is a hero. That's a wizard. Can issue an order and has a spell. Its spell is casting value 6 in a range of 18. Pick one enemy unit within range invisible to the caster. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Double the number of mortal wounds if the unit has 10 or more models, or triple the number of mortal wounds as 20 or more models. I'd rather have Chain Lightning. It has a shooting attack, a searing beam of light, 30-inch range. And what you do is you pick a point on the battlefield within range, in line sight, draw a line between this model and that. Roll a die for each unit that has any models passed across. For each 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Like, it's just like if your opponent lines up nice, or you can move well, you can hit multiple enemy units, but you have to be sure yours are not on the way. I'd rather have Storm or Shemtek, which is going to ramp up. It otherwise hands out, I believe, a 6 of ward save. Where's that? Oh yeah, I said that. Siege of Sigmar units wholly within 9 have a 6 of ward save. It's cool looking. Give me Games Workshop. Give me a reason to buy this without feeling like I'm wasting my points. And I want to point out once again, when we have these conversations, rule of cool, go ahead and use it. It has uses. It definitely has uses. But when we have the conversation about doing a book review, the conversation will innately have to be always from what is the best point of view. I'm not saying it's worthless, but in comparison to this, I think it's worthless. Comment below if you disagree, though. All right, 3 Guild Command Corps. Can't wait for this to come out. I want to paint it up. This is a little character unit. Well, are they? No, they're not characters, not leaders. Just a unit of guys, all with special abilities. So you have, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5 guys actually. Unit comes with a Arch Knight, a Whisper Blade, a Great Herald, a War Surgeon, a Soul Shepherd, and a Gargoyle. Little mascot Gargoylean. So 6 models, 3 wounds apiece, 4 save. This unit, I believe, is going to be a mainstay standard. So the Arch Knight has 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, minus 1 D3 damage. That's not why you bring this unit. It's not a fighting unit, but it can. The little assassin dude has an enchanted rapier. It's 1 attack, 2s and 2s, minus 3 for 6 damage. Little shank. And then assortment weapons on the other dudes, just like basic attacks. And then the little gargoyle has 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1 D3 damage. This unit can fight, but I don't want to risk it in combat because there's such a bunch of other things for you. So at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn, you pick 1 Free Guild Marshal and Relic Envoy. That's this combo. And while you are within, is there a ranger band? Yeah, so the Free Guild Marshal, while within 3 inches of this unit, will have a 4 board save. Again, that's not why I take this unit. We have the Sawbones. So long as the Surgeon is alive, at the end of your hero phase, you can pick up the 3 Cities of Sigmar human units. Wholly within 12 of this unit, you're going to castle up. It's going to happen. And for each unit picked, you can either heal a D3 wounds or return D3 units to those units, D3 models to those units. You're undead. I love it just for that, but there's more. You have the Dispatch Spies ability so long as the Assassin dude here is alive. You can only use this ability while the Whisper Blade is alive. Once per turn, when an enemy issues a command, you can say the Whisper Blade will attempt to disrupt it. If you do so, roll a die. On a 4+, the command is not received. The command ability still counts as being used, and the command point was spent to issue the command. Each time the command is issued, no more than 1 attempt. So if you have multiple units, you can't try to disrupt it more than once. But if someone's trying to go for like a guaranteed 6 run to get to their objective, 4+, once per turn, no. You spent the command point, and nobody else can issue the same order because you've already issued that order. Or somebody's all defense, all attack. It's just, again, like, you give me that on top of the medic? Yep. Stanley Advance. There's a little banner, not pictured here. Little guy with a standard. Use ability while the unit has the Great Herald. Add 1 to the run and charge rolls for friendly human wholly within 12. In addition, humans wholly within 12 that have, you can... Why you gotta be so wordy? In addition, friendly Cities of Sigmar humans wholly within 12 of any friendly units that have a Great Herald retreats. I'll just explain it. In addition, while you're wholly within 12 of this unit, if you retreat from combat, you add D3 interest to your move. I don't care about that. I don't. +1 to run and charge, I don't care about that. The Herald's gonna be one of the first things to die for me in this unit. And then they have the Tune of the Corpus Somani? I can't say that. Little undead duder, that guy. No. Guy weaving souls. You only use his ability while this guy's alive. The Soul Shepherd is alive. In the Battle Shock phase, each time a model would flee from a Sigmar human unit, wholly within 12 of this this model or unit, only until this unit. On a 4+, the model does not flee. So that relic I talked about earlier, don't want to waste a relic on. This guy does it. However, again, you have bad bravery as you see coming up, bravery 5. But yeah, this guy will be useful, but he'll be one of the first I kill. But the Whisper Blade, the medic, and 2 combat guys. Oh, the Whisper Blade's a combat guy too. So the Whisper Blade and the medic are worth it all day long. And if I remember correctly, should I guess the points? I think it was 190. And I think they were on the 2nd page. Free Guild Command, 170. 170 for those 6 models. But it's a force multiplier and a command point disruptor. So if you can disrupt the command point at the right time per turn, it can really turn the tides of the game in your favor. Disrupt your opponent's plans. And the 3 units returning D3 models, for me, auto-include. All right, Stillhelms. One of our battle line units. 100 points for 10 models. 5-inch move, 4 up save, bravery 5. Bravery 6 if the banner's alive. That's this guy. So bravery 6. 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, 1 damage. 1 model can be a priest, and that is this guy. Again, probably not the greatest shot. Probably too dark for this, but yeah, 1 model can be a priest. The priests have ability when these guys control an objective. If there's nobody else nearby, they can consecrate the ground. I think it's on a roll 3+. Yeah, you roll a 3+, and the humans will now have a 6-up board save while on that objective until the enemy takes it away from you. So cool little grab a home objective, grab any objective and consecrate it and get yourself a little ward save. Each time this unit receives the all-out attack or all-out defense, you can pick one other friendly unit with this ability, so you can have multiple units of these guys. One of them receives a command and their other ones get it as well. Either way, 100 points for 10 for save battle line dudes. You need them, gotta have them. 20, because the box set that this got released today has 20 in it. I don't know if you need more than that, 2 units of 10, but if you want to play the one faction where you reinforce them and have better bravery, maybe. But I think a mainstay. Now there are a few other options for battle line, and we'll get to those as well. But and then other ways of making things battle line, obviously. Free Guild Cavaliers are the knights that we already seen in the box set. You get 5 of them in that box. 3 up save, only 2 wounds, 10-inch move, 7 bravery. They have 3 attacks apiece, 3s and 3s, -1 damage. And then when they charge, they get +1 rend and damage. So they have 3 attacks apiece, 3s and 3s, -2 damage. And then the Sergeant, the Arch Knight, is 4 attacks, double the amount of attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 damage. But that weapon doesn't benefit from the charge bonus, so it is just always -2 damage. And then your Horsefoot attacks. So these guys here, not that expensive. Rear Cav are on this page. Am I wrong? They're on this page. 180 points to those 5. They're not cheap. But when you think about the Marshal that we're going to use over here, it's a good chunk of your army. Him plus them. Maybe you made him a priest with the command ability and he gives them +1 to wound. You have an order to get bonus rend. The battle tactic where they're going to clear off an objective. He charges and gets fights first, and immediately after he fights, the knights are going to fight. When he does finest hour, him and his knights will get 3-inch extra charge. So it's going to be a tool I'm going to want to use in most of my lists, even my gunline castle list. Like, somebody's got to go out and clear things out or go grab an objective every now and then, right? So I'm happy to have them. All right, the Free Guild Fusiliers. 5-inch move, 4 up save, bravery 5, 150 points if I remember correctly. Where are you, Fusiliers? Where are you, Fusiliers? I feel like somebody can in the comments is gonna be like, "Hey, Steve, it's so obvious, it's so odd, it's so easy to understand how things are laid out if you know this." But yeah, 150 points for 10. For every unit of steel helms in your army, you can make one of these a battle line. Okay, so their weapon, the Sergeant can have a pistol. I don't think you want to do that. Their weapon is, if you move, 1 attack, 4s and 4s, -1 damage. If you don't move, you set up your Pavis, you are 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1 damage, but 24-inch range. Now keep in mind, there was that order we talked about at the beginning of this video where you get 3 extra inches of movement and you count as being set up after you moved. So you can move 8 inches, still fire 24 inches with 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. You give them all-out attack, maybe your Greywater Fast, as many units are getting all-out attack. Now you're hitting on 3s, winning on 4s. Maybe you have that Warlord trait, command trait where when you issue all-out attack to somebody, their melee, their ranged weapons also get +1 to wound. So 20 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 damage. Maybe you have that relic that gives more range. Maybe this guy's in your list gives them more range. We'll get to that guy in a second. So it could be a good shooting list. Now, the sergeant, the leader of the unit, can have adds two. It doubles attacks basically. Instead of 2 attacks, it'll have 4 attacks. There's a little resupply model. It's a little powder guy. It allows you to use a once per game ability, but only in battle round 3 or later. The unit can reroll misses to hit, but it's once per game, only in battle round 3 or later. 4th position. Okay, when you start the game set up, and when you are set up, you ignore all modifiers to saves from range attacks. Sorry, all negative modifiers. So if you have that Warforged Alchemist guy, which again comes in the starter set, Holier Than 12, a couple units of these, they are 3 up save against shooting. and they're ignoring all rend. All negative modifiers. I'll say that instead. So, and then if you do manage to kill a couple, Sawbones brings D3 back a turn. Maybe you're in combat, but Talia is there. She helps you rally back in. It's going to be a pretty resilient unit, I think. All for 150 points. I like this unit a lot. I'm going to try to not bring ever more than one of these in a typical battle report, but I'm going to make sure I buy 3 units of these for like every now and then. Let's do the Gunline Castle, so long as my opponent is down for it. And then we have the Fusel Major. I want to have a couple of these guys. This is a big ogre with club, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 D3 damage. But there's a character on top. It is a leader. He has a Fusel, long Fusel, that's these rifles, 24 inch range, 3s and 3s, -1 D3 damage. It's a character, it's a hero, it's a leader, it can issue orders. It has a rangefinder. You can pick one Castellate unit within 12. I think you roll a D6. Yeah, you can increase the range of their guns by D6, so you can get these guys here up to 33 inch range. It has the fortified position rule, so if it's set up, you ignore negative modifiers to save. It already comes with a 3-up. It has human, so you get a 2-up save with the War Forge. Is that what he's called? I forget what he's called already. His points for the Fusel Major. $150, same points as them. I like it because the orders, you can order them. Yeah, I'm sure you can order them yourself. And then they have the crack shot ability. Oh, 8 wounds, 3-up save. This guy's not dying easy anyway. You have to fight him in combat because most ranged things aren't going to get him. Now, granted, magic will get you, but, you know, magic gets things. If unmodified hit roll for attack made with his long Fusel, which is 3 attacks, is a 6. It is a crack shot. So when the attack sequence ends, after you finish resolving all attacks completely, you can roll a die for each crack shot that was attempted. For each roll that is at least double the target unit's wound characteristic, pick one model of the unit to be slain. So you're shooting at things. Maybe you get 2 hits and 2 wounds, and you kill 2d3 models out of a little unit. Then you had a 6. You had a crack shot. So now you roll a die afterwards, and if it's doubled in the wound characteristics of that unit, you pick them all to die. That means the stupid Slaves of Darkness champion who has a banner that's going to make you -1 to wound them. I know they have 3 wounds. You have a chance of picking it out yourself by rolling another 6 after that. However, you can kill other people's banners, sergeants. Maybe you're fighting Lumineth, you want to shoot at some of their guys, and then you get a 6 and you crack shot. You can double out the unit sergeant really easily. You want a 2+, and kill out that unit's ability to be a wizard. If you don't understand that, it's a whole level of complication to explain, but the ability to pick which models die from your opponent's unit isn't always useful, but can be very useful. Then again, you can shoot things in close combat, right? Maybe you can, I'm just thinking about like gamey things you can do. You can shoot a unit that's already in close combat with your guys. Maybe they're strung out in a line. You kill a guy right dead center, and then like there's a gap now, and they're going to be at a formation, and you fight first, and you pile in so they can't get back together. And you don't maybe, you know what? That's where my mind goes. It's just a cool thing. All right, let's go to the Ironweld Cannon. It's 150 points. It moves 3 inches. Remember, you can move 6 with that order and still counts as being set up. 8 wounds, 4-up save. When it is set up, when it's in its fortified position, it can ignore all negative modifiers to its save against shooting. It has 3 firing profiles. So 2 of them, the Great Cannonball and the Armor-Piercing Shell, can only be fired while it's in its fortified position. Otherwise, the Grape Shot can be fired even on the move. The Grape Shot is 12-inch range with a 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. That's pretty good on its own. However, it's 2 cannonball shots. Both profiles hit on 4s. Both profiles wound on 2s. So the regular cannonball is -2, D3 + 2 damage. The other one is -4, D6 damage. I'm annoyed that those are actually good. It's a good breakup of stats. Because typically when we see things like this, it's like, oh, I'm always going to fire this one no matter what I'm firing at. If your armor's really, really good, I'm going to go for that D6. If your armor's only 5 up, I'm going to go for that cannonball shot, even though the max damage is going to be lower, the average will be higher. But if my opponent if my opponent has a 4-up armor save, I might go for the armor piercing shot because I don't want my opponent rolling that 6. You never know. You know what? I like this thing. 150 points. I plan on having 2. Points are going to go fast in the guns. All right, we have a steam tank and a steam tank commander. So same thing. One has a character in it. The character can do heroic actions, issue orders, has like 3 more guns. Otherwise, 12 wounds with 2-up save. Let's get points for talking about this. We can consider the points. Wait, it's on this side, isn't it? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? The steam tank is 230 points. Why is this steam tank? Oh, it's going to be in the leader section. There is an obvious way this is laid out. No, it's not there. Oh, leader behemoth, steam tank. So 270 with the commander. So 40 points more for the commander. They get more guns. Yeah, you get a lot for those 40 points. Again, there's only so many leader slots, so you have to see where you gotta put them. So they both have a steam cannon, which is 1 cannon shot. Same as the regular cannon shot. 4s, 2s, -2, D3 plus 2. There's also a steam gun, 12-inch range, 2d6 cannon shots, 3s and 3s, no rend, 1 damage. That's a, excuse me, they're both identical in that regard. Now, the character one, the commander, also gets the long rifle, which is also same range as the cannon. 4s and 2s, -1 D3 damage. And he also has a repeater handgun, so 12-inch range, 3s and 3s, -1/1. So just way more attacks. Now, when you charge on 2 + 2 D3 mortal wounds, and you also stoke the flames here. You can like really push the steam engine. You roll 2d6. If the roll is less than the current number of wounds allocated to this model, you can get a bonus. If it's more than the wounds allocated to this model, you'll take D3 mortal wounds as you over pressurize the oven here. So you can power up your wheels. Where's your wheels? There you go, power the wheels. I was staring right at it. The unit can run and shoot and charge in the same turn, or you can power up the gun. You add 1 of the attack characteristics to the steam gun, so the steam gun becomes the same stat as the regular cannon. And the steam cannon. You pair up the steam cannon and the steam gun. The steam cannon becomes the same stats as the regular cannon, and then the steam gun will be 3d6 attacks instead of 2d6. It can issue orders to 2 steam tanks at the same time. You can issue orders to other steam tanks. So I believe if this is your general, steam tanks become, yes, so if this guy's your general, these guys become battle line. I don't want to play that way, but that's a viable way to play. Wild Corp Hunters. I like these guys, especially if I'm going to play Misthaven. So we have basic human stats. I think they're not cheap. They were not cheap in points. 140 points for 11 models. 4 of them are hounds. A bunch of them have crossbows that are 2 attacks, that are 4s and 4s at -1 damage. And then 1 per squad can have a hunting arbalist, which is 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 D3 damage. Not bad. That's good shooting stats. Otherwise, their melee stats aren't, that incredible, but they can get work done. They have the Expert Tracker special rule. After deployment, but before the first battle round begins, this unit can make a normal move. Now, they only move 5, but a 5-inch move before the game begins, nothing, right? And they have Hidden and Dangerous. Now, this is one that bothers me because I feel like I played most of my games of Sigmar at Mini Wargaming, even though there will be a lot more on this channel real soon, in about a month. I feel like we need more terrain on the table, because I can't remember the last time I played a game where my things were in cover. This unit is not visible to enemy units while they are within cover, or while they're more than 12 inches away from enemy units. In addition, improve the rend characteristic of his missile weapons by 1. So we'll have these regular crossbows are going to be 4s and 4s, -2 1 damage while they're in cover, and this big crossbow is 3s and 3s, -3 D3 damage while in cover, and you can't see them when they are 12 inches away or within cover. Like, I think it's a really, really good unit. It's going to help you really play the game. You should be protected by enemy spells, enemy shooting attacks. You issue that order with that special special command trait that when you give all attack to something, they also get +1 to wound. So, you know, it'd be 12 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2, 1 damage. And then 2 more attacks, 2s and 2s, -3, D3 damage. But they're going to maneuver around the table. I think they're going to be a mainstay for, again, all the way I want to play. Hexel, Hexbane, the Hunters, Galen, and Doria. I can't say her name. They're all here. I don't know. Does anybody? Let me know if you guys use these. Does anybody use these? Yeah, it's just, to me, these are a little too many little tiny little humans. I don't have any opinion on these, so I'm not going to go over them. All right, it's time to talk about dwarves. We got the Warden King and the Rune Lord for our only characters. The Warden King, we have 4-inch move, 6 wounds, 3 up save, 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 D3 damage. Not terrible fighting stats. Not terrible fighting stats, but he's slow, he's small. If this unit is picked to be your general, at the start of the first battle round, you can pick one enemy unit to bear a grudge against. If you do, until the end of the battle, if the unmodified hit roll for attack made by this melee weapon by any Cities of Sigmar Duardin unit, wow, I gotta reread this. Gotta talk about dwarves now. Warden King. We have 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 D3 damage. Not bad fighting stats. The problem is he only has a 4-inch move and he's easily avoided. Otherwise, he does have 6 wounds and a 3-up save. So he's a little tiny, little tough little tank. He has the Ancestral Grudge Bearer special rule. If this unit is picked to be your general, at the start of the first battle round, you can pick one enemy unit to bear a grudge against. If you do so, until the end of the battle, if an unmodified hit roll for an attack made by a melee weapon by a friendly Cities of Sigmar dwarf unit is a 6, it automatically wounds, do not roll to wound. The dwarves are kind of slow, so you pick a unit that 6s to wound, automatically wound, your opponent can just avoid your dwarves with that unit if you only have a contingent of dwarves and this is your general. If you're fully dwarves, well, you're gonna have other problems. So we also have the Fearless Leader. In the combat phase, after this unit has fought for the first time, you can pick one friendly Cities of Sigmar dwarf unit that is not yet fought and within 3 inches of this guy, and they immediately fight. Typical hero things you're seeing on characters nowadays. We got the Rune Lord, who has got the typical hero stats we've seen from many, many years, except for he only has a 4-inch move. He has 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rend with D3 damage. He can unbind 1 spell like a wizard. He's the prayer guy. He does the prayer things we talked about earlier. And the one he comes with is an answer value of 4 with a range of 18 for dwarf units only. Till the start of your next hero phase, improve the rend characteristic of your weapons by 1. Not bad. Not bad. Long beards. Let's see if they can be battle line still. Where are you, Longbeards? Longbeards, they're a battle line. So we have 10 mauls for 130 points. So 30% more expensive than the last battle line we talked about. However, you have 1 less movement, more bravery, and your combat abilities are kind of greatly improved. So you can have 2 attacks with 3s and 3s, -2, 1 damage. Or you can have 2 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, -1, 1 damage. So either you have a great weapon or hand weapon and a shield. If you have a shield, your save characteristic becomes 3-up instead of 4-up, so you can be even more resilient, but your still helms are basically 3-up with this guy, as long as that guy's alive, right? Each time a model would flee from... Each time a model would flee from a friendly Cities of Sigmar Duardin unit that is wholly within 12 of any friendly units with this ability, roll a die. On a 4+ does not flee. So, okay. Other dwarves want to flee around them. They used to have the old Grumbler special rule back in the days of fantasy. It's call to that. So 130 points to have a similar save. I wouldn't bother with a shield with these guys. But you're looking at 2 attacks, 3s and 3s. -2, 1 damage. For 130 points, that's actually not terrible. and they're still on 25 mil bases, so you're gonna fight in 2 ranks. You get a lot of output for that. A lot of combat output for that. 130 points, you're gonna get, what's that, 20 attacks, 3s and 3s, minus 2, 1 damage. It's not terrible. Hammerers, however, will have 2 attacks. Again, same 25 mil base, so they're all gonna fight. 3s and 3s, minus 2, 2 damage. At the start of the first battle round, you pick your Warden King. The Warden King will have a 4-up ward save while he's within 3 inches of these guys. They're like the bodyguards for your general here. So they hand out a ward save, but they're a combat powerhouse. However, for points, Hammer's going to cost you 150 points for the 10. Again, not a, like the points per output on that, I think it's pretty decent. I think it's actually very good. The 4-inch move is kind of scary. But at the same time, at only 150 points, you can have multiple units of them. However, there's similar things coming up for the elves that do the same thing, but better. Iron Drakes, we have a 4-inch save, 4-inch move, gun unit with only an 18-inch range gun. 3s and 3s. No, that's not right. Drake gun is 15-inch range. 3s and 3s, minus 1, 1. And then, like, one guy can have the torpedo for 3s and 3s, minus 2, D3. Torpedo does 3 damage against monsters. The Blaze Way rule, add 1 to attack characteristics if this uses missile weapons, if there are no enemies within 3 of it, and it's not. So if they don't move and they're not engaged in combat, they have an extra attack. But the gun is so short range that I don't really care. What are we looking at for Iron Drakes? Iron Drakes, 160 points for 10. No, I'd rather just have another unit of Fusiliers. Iron Breakers, 3-up save. 2 attacks, 3s and 4s, no rend. If they do the shield wall order, their ward save is 4-up instead of 5-up. Are they going to be battle line? All right, the moment we're talking about here. 130 points for 10 of these guys that are battle line. 3-up save. When they get ordered, shield wall, means you have to spend more points on a dwarf hero, I guess. For a ward save. No, I don't care. Nah, I don't care. Do anybody disagree with me? If you do, point it out. Cogsmith. This is an interesting one. Hero stats. Has a couple of weapons. Great. It can issue commands to gyrocopters and gyrobombers. Yeah. Okay, gyrocopters and gyrobombers. You take units of 1 to 3. 12-inch move. Only 4 wounds. 3-up save. 2 different kinds of guns. 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, minus 1, D3. Or 2d6 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rend. Its melee is 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, minus 1, 2. It can once per game drop bombs for D3 mortal wounds, typical things. But the move 12, how many points are we paying for a gyrocopter? 80 points for 1. You can only have a unit of 1 or 3, not 2. Weird. 80 points for 1, 240 points for 3. I'm not paying 240 points for 3 of these. 80 points for 1 to do like objective type things isn't out of the norm. I can see paying 80 points for 1. I would never bring 240 points for unit of 3. I don't know what the unit of 3 does that those points can't be better spent elsewhere. The Gyro Bomber, however, extra wound. It's 120 points for 1. It's only ever 1. Its shooting is Clatter Gun, 18-inch range, 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, minus 1, 2. I like that. But it's 120 points. I think I'd rather 30 points more combined cannon. But it moves 12. Its fight is... I don't know if I want to spend 100. I don't know if I want to spend 120 points on this. 12-inch move, 3-up save, 5 wounds. It's basically just 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, minus 1, 2 damage. You fly over a unit on 2+, you can do D3 mortal wounds. Not useless. Nothing here is useless. Just outshined by all the shiny new human models. All right, elves. Elves have some uses here. Remember, the spells were really, really good. We go back from a lifetime ago when this video started. 14 wounds, 5 up save on the sorceress on a black dragon. Good fighting stats. The claws are 6 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1, 2 damage. The jaws 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, -2 D3 damage. And then her cruel weapons, inconsequential. I think it's typical black dragon stats we've seen for years. The spell she comes with is a 6 to cast, 18-inch range. You pick one enemy unit within range visible to the caster and roll 9 dice. For each roll that's less than the save characteristic of that unit, take one mortal wound. That's a good spell. Good spell. It's really good at clearing out like little chaff thingies that are 18 inches away. I don't have to fly over to deal with those little ether wings that are holding that objective. I mean, this spell will almost certainly get. This spell will guarantee get them. Noxious Breath. It's got a 9-inch range shooting attack. The attack characteristic is equal to the amount of mauls in the unit you're attacking, to a maximum of 10. 2s and 3s, -1/1. Otherwise, not the way I want to do a dragon, but there's your elf dragon with a sorcerer. But we'll get to the your regular elf. Oh wait. And she's only 270 points, so not terrible. Your regular sorceress, where is she? 100 points flat. Who cares about her melee stats? Who cares about her defensive stats? Our spell is Word of Pain. It's 7 to cast. We don't like those. 18-inch range. Pick one enemy within range of visible to the caster. It suffers a D3 mortal wounds. In addition, subtract 1 from hit rolls made by attacks by that unit to the next hero phase. We love that with that ability for when we get to this guy. Look at the Dreadlord on a black dragon who, every time you missed, you fail to hit him, you take a mortal wound. So she first puts the Word of Pain on somebody, makes them -1 to hit. He charges in, tries to get as many mauls that have to fight him. Remember, your opponent doesn't have to pile in. That's good for you too, right? I love that combo. I love that combo. The elves seem a little interesting. Worth 100 points if you're going to go the elf route. The Blackguard. Now, you need to talk about points first. Blackguard, definitely not battle line. So that means they're going to be on the second page. I'm lying. Where are you, Blackguard? Okay. Battle line if generals Darkling Covens. And I believe... Yes, I think everything here is Darkling Covens. Huh. No way. All right, Games Workshop, you screwed up the lore a little bit. You know what? It's your lore. You can rewrite it all you want. So the Dreadlord is not... The Dreadlord on Black Dragon is not Darkling Covens. So your general has to be one of these sorceresses, but who cares? The sorceress is worth bringing. Okay, so battle line, well, she's your general. Oh, points. Did I say? Oh yeah, 100. Nope, 140 points for 10. I love that point cost because they have a 6-inch move. Maybe I'm playing Misthaven, get extra movement, 4 up save. 2 attacks apiece, 3s and 3s, -1/1. This unit has a 4 aboard save, so long as they are within 3 inches of any of these units. So 4 up, 4 up, 2 attacks apiece, 3s and 3s. Okay combat output, super defensive. This is your holding unit. I remember back in the day when I was playing a lot of Phoenix Guard, that's basically what they did. It was just 4. Why do they have 4 aboard save? These guys used to be the guards of the Dreadlords, the personal bodyguard of Dreadlords, not sorceresses. But now they're the personal guards of sorceresses. But either way, this, damn good combo. Bleak Swords, 100 points. I don't have to look it up, I remember. 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. If the score is 6 to hit, it's 2 hits. Executioners, another good combat unit. Executioners... We're also Darkling Coven. 170 points for 10. Now these are good and expensive, right? One of the most expensive extras we've seen so far. not battle line, only 4 up save, so no defensive abilities, but they have 1 inch range, who cares, they're a 25 mil base, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage, 6s to hit, do 2 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends. So a little expensive, you know, maybe a little too expensive, but it's a threatening unit. Yeah, they might be a little too expensive. I don't know. You let me know, comment below. If they were about 140 points, I think I'd use them all day long. I think I'd rather see them about a 150, but you know, because of the mortal wounds, maybe they're perfectly justified at 170. I guess that's gonna take some experimenting. Dark Shards, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s with the crossbows, 16 inch range. 120 points for 10. One of them can be battle lines for every bleak sword or dread spear in your army. They're battle line as well, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s with 2 inch range. They +1 to hit if they did not charge. Yeah, still helms. These have no value. All right, Dreadlord and Black Dragon. Noxious Breath, same as before. Dragon stats, same as before. It can fly. If you have a shield, unmodified save roll 6s. An unmodified save roll of a 6, when this guy rolls a saves, automatically succeed. So you may have Ren 47. If he rolls a 6, it still makes a save. 14 wounds, 4 up save. You can reroll charge rolls for Order Serpentis units within 12. Those are the Cold One Knights. +1 random damage for the lance. The main thing about this guy is a lot of damage, but if you make it so he has a big base, so a lot of models can swing at him if they miss with that command trait. Take a mortal wound. That's where I want to see this guy. Oh, how many points are we spending for that dude? Dreadlord, Behemoth Leader. See, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. He's only 280. Does he have the combat output for it without the upgrades? So his regular Exile Blade is 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2. Or you have 2 of those for 6 attacks. Or you have the Lance, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2. But that Lance is 2 Ren, 3 damage on the charge. Probably that one. The Dragon will do work. I'd probably give him a Lance and Shield. And then let the command trait do work. War Hydra. Yeah, points first. Those guys are always important for context. You know, the points are too high, nothing else matters, right? 180 points, 4 up save, 12 wounds. Then in the combat phase, it heals 5 wounds every combat phase. You gotta kill this thing in one go. It's very doable, so you gotta be very cautious with this. If a player is very cautious with this Hydra, puts him where he needs to be, minimize attacks on him, it'll survive the entire game. Fire Breath attack, 2s and 3s, -1, 1 damage. Similar to like the Dragon Breath attack. Its close combat is 6 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1, 3, with 3 inch range. That's a good all-out attack target right there. 3 damage, and then the crew. You know what? Not bad. Chariots. Drake Spawn Chariot. This is the Cold One Chariot. 6 wounds, 4 up save, 10 inch move. It's got some crossbows. Otherwise, it's actually middling combat output. The Drake Spawn Chariot is 90 points for 1 and 270 for 3. So 90 points for 1 isn't that bad. This rule better carry him. After he's going to make a charge move, pick 1 unit within 2. And each model is unit within 3. Wait. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You roll 2 to 4. You suffer 1 mortal wound. You roll 5 plus 3 mortal wounds. That's just bad. If they're within 3 inches of any knights, you add 2 to the roll. So after it charges, other chariots, well, I guess the Stormcast chariots, you roll a die for, like, if you roll 7 inch charge, you roll 7 dice every 4 plus as a mortal wound. The Chaos ones, it's on a 5 plus, so it's worse. But this thing is, you roll a die, and a 2 to 4, you do a mortal wound. This is bad. This is useless. Not worth the points. Boo. Drake Spawn Knights. 10 inch move, 2 wounds, 3 up save, 7 bravery. Same stats as the human knights in that regard. Their melee is not as good as the human knights at all. At all. Oh, at all. They better be a lot cheaper. They're 30 points cheaper than the human knights, but they have no punch. That's a solid pass for me. Dark Riders could be very good with Misthaven. 14-inch move. Remember, they can also possibly get 2d6 extra inches of movement under Misthaven. Then again, so can these. Even though that's garbage. And they're mediocre. I'd rather spend the points on these. So Dark Riders. How many points are you paying for Dark Riders? Dark Riders are paying what? Oh, sorry, shirts. 150 points for 5. They don't have a nothing save. They had a decent save. 14-inch move. They got some shooting. 3 attacks apiece, 4s and 4s. That's incidental shooting. Their combat is actually not that different from their lances. Their lances get bonus random damage when they charge, but otherwise their spears are the same without that bonus. Pitiful. This unit can retreat and still shoot and or charge in the same turn. In addition, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by the unit if it may retreat move. They're meant to like feign flight, right? Roll die each time an enemy unit issues a command within 12 of friendly units with this ability. On a 5+, the command is not received. It still counts as being used in command point. Competitively speaking, that's amazing. But it is 150 points for 5. I can see myself using the, it'll break my theme, so I won't do it. But if I'm making a competitive list, I probably want a unit or 2 of these. Maybe just 1 because they're expensive. In like my human list to go threaten objectives and do command point shenanigans. And if I'm Misthaven, all day long. Just moving around. We got an assassin who has 6 attacks with 3s and 3s minus 1 damage. This is an assassin that's not going to kill anything. If it's within 3 inches of any elf units, you can't be seen. But any models are more than 12 away. He hides from things that are more than 12 away. I don't even care. If he rolls a 6 to wound, he does D3 mortal wounds instead. He gets strikes first when he charges. This thing better be negative points. Is he a leader? He's not a leader. He's got to be a leader. He's 90 points and he's a leader. How do you justify those 90 points? You have to roll 6s to wound to do anything. And if you don't, you're going to die because you have 5 wounds and a 5 up save. This is terrible. Black Arc Bleed Master. 5 wounds and a 4 up save. 5 attacks, 3s and 3s minus 1, 2 damage. Typical fighty on foot stats. If an unmodified hit roll for attack made with melee weapon targets a unit. Oh, if an unmodified hit roll for you roll is 1. The attacking unit suffers 2 mortal wounds after all attacks are resolved. So he's so good at parrying, if you roll 1s to hit him, you do take 2 mortal wounds. That's kind of threatening. When this unit issues an all-out attack command to friendly private... These guys. Add 1 attack characteristics to the unit's weapons. Oh, not bad. No, it's bad. Okay, so when he issues all-out attack to these guys, they get +1 attack to their weapons. They have 1 attack. No, they can have 3 attacks. So they can have a hand crossbow and 1 attack, or no hand crossbow and 3 attacks. So 4 attacks, but it's still 4s and 4s, no rend 1 damage. However, when you hit them, if you roll 1, you take a mortal wound. They're also swashbucklers. Okay, these things better be dirt cheap. The Black Arc Corsairs. The Fleet Masters went to 90 points. They're both, so 90 points for him, 90 points for these guys. No. It's not going to make me go and buy the units. If I had them, I might use them. I wouldn't use them if I had them. I would use them. I might even go buy them for my army. I would not buy these. I wouldn't even use them if I had them. I'd buy this. I'd buy this. No. I use them if I have them. I wouldn't go buy them. No. Yes. Yes. Buy these. We're not done though. We have the Scourge Runner Chariot. So it's the chariot not driven by Cold One. It has a harpoon that's 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 D3 damage. It's 3 damage against the monster. Otherwise, it's a fast-moving, probably very expensive thing. How many points is the Scourge Runner? 80 points for 1, 240 points for unit of 3. 12-inch move, only 6 wounds, 5 up save. 80 points is kind of cheap, though. I'd use it if I had it. Wouldn't go and buy one, though. And then we finally have the Charybdis. Charybdis is Behemoth. This thing gonna be 160 points. Oh, how many points was the Chimera? Or sorry, the Hydra. Did we talk about that? Oh, yeah, the Hydra was 180. So this is 20 points cheaper than the Hydra. The Hydra regenerates 5 wounds at the end of your combat phase. Otherwise, same wounds, same save. It has 5 attacks. It has less attacks than the Hydra that are 4s and 3s minus 1, 3 damage. But it also has a spike tail adding d6 more, 3s and 3s, no rend 1 damage. And then it's it. However, ooh, we got something here. Enemy units within 12 that can't use the Inspiring Presence command ability. I'm going back to earlier in this book. We're talking about the Dark Elf spell, Umbral Hex, which makes you take battle shock tests on 2d6. I like it. It's a little situation. You got to set it up, but it'll be fun to do. Will that be a competitive combo? I mean, tournament-esque, but we don't care about that. Probably not. I would actually buy it just to play with that. That'd be cool. Okay, so I like that. I like that. We got the whole book. Whole thing's done. I am excited for this book. Visually, now granted, the new models are all human, but visually, this is some of the best looking models I've seen in a while. Though I know I keep saying that, I get too caught up on the shiny new things. I'm mostly interested in playing all the human stuff because of all the new models. I love the way they look. I think the orders thing that we're going to play around with this book is going to be fantastic. I got to now work out how to make my list I want to play fit into a bunch of battalions that give me a bunch of extra relics and command traits. That's my next challenge. I know I'm not going to have the points, but everything I want on the list. But I want to know from you guys, what are you planning on playing? Are you going to play your Dark Elves? Sorry, I call them Dark Elves. Your Misthaven Elf army? Are you going to do some Greywater Fastness Dwarves? Or is this book all about the humans? Are we going that way? Are you upset that the Dwarves seem lackluster? Or am I wrong and the Dwarves aren't lackluster and I'm just too caught up on their shiny? Comment below on all that stuff. What did you think? And let me know how you think about this format for book reviews. If this one works out well, you guys like this, I'll get a better camera for the next one so we can follow along better. But as a Battletome, I've been excited for this one. And like I said earlier, like I'm not lying, I never had any interest in City Sigmar. The models in this book, like look how beautiful this is. Again, oh sorry, I wish this was 2 models. But here's that unit, right? There's the War Surgeon, the Knight, the Herald, your little mascot, little assassin. I love this unit. All the new models. Oh, hey, it makes multiple models. Cool. Like every new kit in here is awesome, and I'm gonna try to fit all of them into my list. And oh, okay, you know what? There's one thing I guess we didn't talk about, and I wish I still had this here, but I'm at the Mini Wargaming Studios. Thank you for letting me use your studios. So all my transfers are at home. So when you buy your Sage of Sigmar stuff, you're going to have a sheet of transfers. So you have enough to make all your guys with any one of the types you want. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? This is a step backwards, whereas 40K 10th edition has said, hey, it doesn't matter if you want to be Imperial Fists or Ultramarines or you all have the same rules. Now, your named characters are locked to whatever. In Sigmar, your named characters aren't locked, typically, but your rules are. Is anybody going to care if I paint up Hammerhall Gyra, but I use Greywater Fastness rules? I think in 40K, it's generally frowned upon. In Sigmar, nobody seems to care, so that's why I'm not overly worried about the color schemes that are in here. I love the options. You can paint, like I said, the transfer sheet. You put the Greywater Fastness on there, or the Lethis. Like you can customize them any way you want. And every model, well, actually, you've seen the picture here. I was gonna get models to show you, but you'll have these little sections that are flat for your transfers. Now, if you're a good painter, you can paint your own, make your own thing. And Otherwise, like me, I have no freehand ability. Use the transfers. And I want to point out that, again, I wanted to show you guys, but I forgot, and I brought them all home because I've been working on these models. But when you get this transfer sheet, not only do you get enough of hammer haul transfers for your unit, but there's also generic ones. If you want to use a symbol that's not locked to any city, in hindsight, I probably should have did that. It would solve my own personal problem, but I really, oh God, I love all these models. I really love her. And she is hammer haul, so if they could make a generic, if my army's painted red with that logo on it, if there was a generic version of this Chimera character, I'd be a different color. Does anybody else think like me? Anybody else paint like me or hobby like me? Let me know what you think below. Otherwise, that's my only disappointment. I want a generic version of this model. Fantastic models, fantastic transfer sheet, which I'm not showing you, I'm sorry. Super excited for this Battletome. It almost feels like 3 books in one. Not gonna complain about that. And I hope, my one worry now is when I play this game that I remember my orders, when to do them, how they work properly, and then I gotta remember when my steel helm, where are you guys? When these guys here get to an objective and consecrate and have a 6-up ward save, but oh no, I don't have that ward save anymore because my opponent took the objective, but I still think I have it. Am I gonna be able to remember that? There's no marker for that. There's no marker for that, right? This is a cool thing. So they give you a little cheat sheet with all the orders on it. So you can take out this dwarf one and all these elf and dwarf ones and throw them off to the side. Just bring these to the game with me. And they give you enough tokens to use for all your orders, but only 3 of each, obviously, because I can't have more than 3 of each. I'm going to maximize my leaders, but to play with the actual battle traits. Love this book. You know, the next one, like I said, let me know what you think. I had a blast doing this, and I'll keep doing them because I love talking about new books. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. There will be plenty more to watch upcoming and plenty more already on the channel to watch if you haven't already done so. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It's really helpful for the channel. Comment below, engage with Algorithmo, helps with the channel a whole bunch, and think about joining the channel. There is a join button right next to the subscribe button, because I know you already clicked that button. Learn about everything you get from becoming a channel member, access to Discord and a bunch of other extra videos. We're gonna think of some people over here scrolling by. These are the Rock Jocks and Peak supporters, or higher tier channel members that they do a lot to help this channel keep it going. Can't do without each and every one of these people over here. Super appreciate them all. See you in the next one, guys. Happy wargaming.